Last night, a petition was launched calling for a general election on the basis that Labour have broken promises and done things they never ever said they'd do. Its kind of trust is breaking down. Well, unbelievably, it's already on 750,000 signatures. Even Elon Musk has been talking about it. I've never seen a petition go this quickly. Let me ask you, do you think there should be a general election because of what Labour have done?
Farage has just landed a devastating blow, striking straight at Starmer's career. Without hesitation, he has exposed a series of dark secrets, forcing the arrogant and out-of-touch Prime Minister to face mounting pressure to resign. Let's witness the moment Farage takes down Starmer with a knockout punch that's as challenging as it is decisive. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the latest developments.
If you don't like the changes that we've made, I say the door is open and you can leave.
In the past few days, pub owner Michael Westwood has gone through an incredibly busy and constantly surprising period. When he decided to launch a petition last Thursday, hoping to call for a new general election, he only expected to gather around 2,000 signatures from like-minded individuals. However, something unexpected happened. Within a short time, the petition quickly gained over 2 million signatures, and this number continues to rise at an astonishing rate. The motivation behind Mr. Westwood's actions stems from a strong sense of frustration that he felt, believing that many people in the UK shared the same sentiment. The feeling he harboured, which many others likely share, is that we have been blatantly deceived by Prime Minister Keir Starmer and his allies just to seize power. For him and his supporters, the government's failure to honour its promises and betrayal of public trust is something that cannot be accepted. The petition Mr. Westwood launched, though phrased cautiously and diplomatically, does not hide the anger towards the actions of the Labour government. In the petition he writes, "I believe that the current Labour government has not kept the promises they made before the most recent election." However, behind these words is a clear message that reflects the deep frustration of the public with the commitments Starmer and the Labour Party have failed to fulfil. While attempting to maintain a diplomatic tone, it is clear to everyone that this is a direct accusation, targeting the failure to deliver on promises made before the current government took office. These are no longer isolated, disconnected voices, but the roar of a united crowd, sending a blunt message to those in power: enough is enough. This reflects the deep exhaustion and frustration of the public with a government that seems increasingly detached from reality, where policies and decisions only serve to exacerbate insecurity and injustice. Even Nigel Farage, known for his boldness and willingness to confront the establishment, has had to speak out. According to him, he has never witnessed such a strong and explosive wave of opposition. However, the current political system in the United Kingdom allows the government to delay elections for the next 4 years, despite the growing voices of the people. But clearly, the public will not accept waiting in vain. They demand clear answers, accountability from those who have dug themselves deeper into mistakes, and more importantly, a new path to lead the country out of its current impasse. The question is, what has triggered an underground wave to become an unstoppable fury? And will those clinging to power remain sharp enough to realise they have gone too far?
There is a vote of no confidence inside the Labour Party for Keir Starmer's leadership, or a vote of no confidence by the opposition MPs, which will lose anyway unless a vast number of Labour MPs go against their own party, which we already know they won't, because they already threatened them with their jobs under the winter fuel allowance, and most of them sat on the fence. So we're stuck with them, guys, and I know it's not good news, and I know people like to get all up in the air, but I've been here twice before. I've sat here and promoted these petitions for days on end.
Farage believes that the timing is what makes this petition particularly special and has drawn widespread attention. In normal circumstances, dissatisfaction with a government typically takes time to build up, gradually turning into pressure for change. However, in this case, the public's patience seems to have vanished in the blink of an eye. This leads to an unavoidable question: what has caused everything to descend into crisis so quickly? For the majority of the public, the issue isn't simply a dislike of Starmer or his policies. In reality, It's an overwhelming sense of betrayal by a system that was once expected to bring about positive change. Starmer entered the election with lofty promises of stability and improvement, but now the public is faced with the reality that his government can't even carry out the most basic tasks. This outrage is clearly evident as millions of people are willing to sign a petition calling for a new election. This is not just a political protest. It has become a symbol of a profound crisis of trust in both the government and the current system of governance. In just 48 hours, the petition's signatures have surpassed 2 million, a figure that cannot be ignored. This is no ordinary event. It has become a focal point, drawing attention not only from within the country, but from the international community as well. This number continues to rise at an astonishing rate, clearly reflecting the growing wave of discontent. By the time this report is referenced, the number of signatures may have reached an even more staggering level, underlining the public's strong determination to demand answers, accountability, and change. The people's fury has exposed an undeniable reality. Starmer's government has not only failed to meet expectations, but has also become a symbol of deception, false promises, and managerial incompetence. What is happening now is not just opposition to an individual or a political party. It is a bigger warning that public trust in the system has hit rock bottom.
The most vulnerable group in our society, pensioners, 10 million of them, who will be shivering in their homes this winter. Well, frankly, they already are. How cold has it been this weekend? I think when Labour imagine what a pensioner is, they don't think of someone living hand to mouth, deciding whether or not to have a meal or to switch on the radiator. I don't think that's how they perceive pensioners. I think they think of Hyacinth Bouquet from Keeping Up Appearances in her posh end-of-terrace accommodation.
Nigel Farage, a familiar figure in politics, has openly stated that this petition is an unprecedented phenomenon. This is not just a typical event. It marks a completely distinct milestone. Ask yourself, how many times in history have millions of people been able to unite so quickly to call for a new election? Clearly, this event is so rare that it's almost without precedent, especially when it comes to a call for an early election during a Prime Minister's term, something almost unimaginable. Keir Starmer, theoretically, is still in the early stages of his term and has not had enough time to establish the stability required for his government. However, the harsh reality is that public patience has run out. They no longer wish to wait another day hoping for change from a government that is widely regarded as ineffective and seemingly out of touch with what the people truly need. What has led to this severe turning point? This is not simply a reaction to failed policies, but an eruption of long-simmering frustration, combined with a profound loss of faith in Starmer's leadership ability. The promises of reform and stability he made have dissolved, leaving behind deep dissatisfaction. The fact that millions of people have quickly come together to sign the petition is not a random act. It is a powerful expression of the public's voice, asserting that they can no longer accept a weak, out-of-touch government. This unity is not only a form of protest, but also a clear declaration that change is not just necessary, it is an urgent demand.
Nearly 2 million people have signed a petition calling for a general election. Keir Starmer is done for. Is a ridiculous take on this subject. Let's be clear, over 18 million people, in fact, I think it was over 19 million people, voted in the last general election in July for parties that were not the Labour Party, for candidates that were not Labour candidates. Yet, Reform UK and even Elon Musk, of all people, would have you believe that 1,620,082 signatures.
Why does this event hold such special significance? Simply because it is incredibly rare to witness such a powerful mobilisation in such a short amount of time. Rather than being a campaign organised over weeks or months, this petition seems to have appeared suddenly, yet it was so compelling that millions immediately got involved. Such a strong and spontaneous response is not just a protest. It is a deep denunciation of the level of dissatisfaction the public feels towards the government. This is not merely a political issue, it is a manifestation of the feelings of abandonment, disappointment and frustration that are spreading throughout society. The overwhelming number of signatures shows that these emotions are not isolated incidents, but have exploded into a nationwide wave of anger. Farage believes that the speed and unity of this response send a clear message. The public no longer has the patience to wait for superficial changes from the government. People are not just demanding change, they are demanding it be implemented immediately without any further delay. Promises are the foundation of any political campaign, and Keir Starmer, like other politicians, did not hesitate to make numerous pledges during his campaign. However, this strong wave of opposition has exposed an undeniable truth. Those promises have not only gone unfulfilled, but they have also left the public feeling profoundly betrayed. It is this dishonesty and irresponsibility that has pushed the public to the limit of their tolerance. In the end, long-simmering frustration has erupted into a fierce demand for a transformative change, marking the beginning of a deep crisis of trust.
Who just was so fed up with Labour government, he thought, let's see if we can get a petition going. And it's now reached 1.8 million people signed.
This petition is fantastic. Yeah. I know a lot of people that are on Petition Watch, you know, people texting each other going, it's on 1.8.
I've literally got it on a clock here on my left on the screen.
Honestly, Mike, I think for some of us it's just the first thing that's given us any hope. And I know they will ignore it.
Yeah.
But why? Why are they ignoring it? Why will they? I know that's the way democracy works, but democracy also works in that when millions of people are very unhappy about a situation and feeling desperate about their country, there should be some way that they can express that view in a peaceful way.
Yes.
In an absolutely dignified way. We're signing this, and there are millions of other people in the country who aren't online, who aren't going to be able to.
Nigel Farage has strongly criticised Keir Starmer's campaign, emphasising that the Labour Party painted an overly optimistic picture of renewal. Starmer promised to fix everything that was broken and make the lives of ordinary people better. But if you ask those same people today, many would immediately feel betrayed. One of Starmer's biggest failures has been his inability to deliver on the key promises the public had hoped for. Whether it was reforming the economy, addressing immigration, or changing tax policies, all of these were ignored. The general feeling is that Starmer's government has broken its promises and achieved nothing. Farage argues that this isn't just a failure of policy, but a severe blow to public trust. Once trust is shattered, it's incredibly difficult to rebuild. The public had hoped for better, expected clear change. But what they've received is nothing but disappointment after disappointment, even worse than before. This sense of betrayal is the main driving force behind the petition's widespread attention, as Starmer's increasing ineffectiveness and failure become ever more evident.
BBC Verify backing up his facts about how many small farms would be affected by inheritance tax, which is completely at odds with what many other economists think. Now we learn that the expert at the BBC, and you might have heard of this fella, Dan Needle, has been around for a couple of years. Independent tax expert. Oh no, he's not. It turns out he's been a member of the Labour Party for 35 years and he is an activist. Independent tax expert. I should cocoa. It's all nonsense. It shows that the BBC, frankly, over the farming issue, have not played with a straight.
The anger of the farming community is a clear demonstration of why so many people have signed the petition. They feel overlooked, and the petition has become a tool to demand the change they deserve. Nigel Farage has consistently criticised politicians for lacking practical understanding, and Keir Starmer is no exception. Starmer has repeatedly shown a disconnection from the working class he claims to represent. Whether in policy decisions or public statements, Starmer has failed to meet the expectations of the public. A clear example of this is the perception of many working class people who feel that Starmer's government doesn't understand their struggles and needs. Every mistake he makes only adds to the sense of being abandoned.
Just give me a second. Just give me a second. Would you like them? Very expensive. But guess what? I bought them myself. How about that?
Immigration has long been a controversial issue in the UK, and under Keir Starmer's leadership, the matter has become even more contentious. Nigel Farage is one of the most vocal critics of Starmer's handling of the issue, and clearly many people agree with his views. The core issue here is illegal immigration. Farage condemns Starmer for allowing the situation to descend into chaos, and it seems the public shares this concern. Many feel that the current government is prioritising the interests of immigrants over the rights of long-standing British citizens, which has sparked a powerful wave of anger. Take taxes as an example. Farage points out that while immigrants may live without paying taxes, dedicated British citizens are burdened with sky-high tax rates. For those who have contributed to society for many years, this is a serious affront. It's not just a financial issue, it's a profound injustice.
4 years ago, I was going out into the English Channel, filming small boats coming, predicting that if we didn't deal with it, you may as well put a sign on the White Cliffs of Dover, everyone welcome. And I said there would be an invasion. I was called all the names under the sun for daring to use that word. Well, since that time, 3,800 boats have come, 125,000 people have come, most of them young men, undocumented young males. I think that poses a very serious.
The public's frustration with immigration is one of the key factors driving the significant attention towards this petition. Many people feel that their voices are being ignored, and they are using the petition as a tool to send a clear message. It's time for change. The workers, those who have laboured their way from the working class into the middle class, continue their journey without any real surprises. In fact, this is entirely normal. Farage points out that Starmer's lack of connection with the working class is his greatest weakness. The working class makes up the majority of the population in the UK, and when they feel overlooked or misunderstood, it leads to serious problems. This is precisely why the petition has received such strong support from the public. They feel left behind and are no longer willing to remain silent. So what happens next? Farage believes this petition could become a turning point for Keir Starmer. If there is enough support, he can no longer ignore it. The petition is not simply a list of signatures, it is a powerful statement. This is how the public is expressing their impatience with the government's excuses and their readiness to take action.